guys, what's up? It's Josh, WRB here, bringing you a brand new review. Today, talking to you guys about, She Never Died. Part of my Calgary International Film Festival 20th anniversary. I'm going to town trying to watch as many of the screeners that I was sent as possible, get them out to you guys during the festival so you know when to see them, and it can kind of help you guide your way through just the sheer amount of movies that there are to be consumed within this next week in Calgary. So, She Never Died, starring Ulanuki Adili. I think that's how you say her name. If I butchered it, I apologize. She was in a movie last year called Darken, also directed by Audrey Cummings, that I reviewed. Here's the link for that one right here. She was the best part of that movie. It's happening again. She's the best part of this movie. There's a duo in Audrey Cummings and Ulanula. Okay, I'm not even going to attempt this. I'm just going to butcher it more. I'm sorry. They're a really good team. They're making really fun movies together, like super high concept movies. I didn't know that this movie was a sequel until I watched it and then realized that there was a first one called He Never Dies, starring Henry Rollins as the main actor in that one. I started looking into it a little more for this review, and it turns out this was supposed to be a direct sequel starring Henry, apparently, but the writer is focusing on some TV adaptation that he's working on right now. So he handed it off to Audrey Cummings to make this almost into like a cinematic universe, if you will. It's really cool because the story and the characters, and I like how it unfolds because I didn't know it was a sequel to a different one where you kind of know more about what he actually is. The way this movie unfolds, because I had no clue. I'm like, what is she? Is she, like the trailer says, are you a vampire? Are you a zombie? Are you, like, she's an angel of death. And it's so cool. I love that this is potential. Well, and the way it kind of ends, it leaves it almost open for more adaptations of this in the future. And I'm really excited to see what becomes of this franchise. The tone of this movie was kind of confusing though, because at first, and especially when you see the poster, I thought I was going to be watching more of like a horror movie, but the tone of this movie is a lot more fun than that. It's campier, there's a lot of funny parts, and the music that they chose to put in certain like transitional parts and everything, it didn't lend itself to a horror movie. It lent itself more to like action comedy, buddy cop type stuff, because Peter McNeil's character Godfrey, who's the lead detective in this movie, his character, he gives no F's to his job whatsoever. He's just like, you know what? These people are scum on the bottom of my shoe. I want them dead. I always love characters like that because that's how I see. That's what most of the audience would be like. Okay, these people are trafficking humans and doing torture things, and they're just literally the worst human beings on earth. They deserve to die, and anyone in the audience is going to agree with that. So you automatically see it through his eyes and want these people to die as well. The story is very compelling. It's a super fun watch. This movie does have, you know, some stumbling points to it, but it is such a fun story and so like over the top with some of the gory special effects, and some of the death scenes in this are like, whoa! And I love those little holy shit moments that this movie has, because you're watching it, it's a little campy in parts with the dialogue and everything, and then all of a sudden there's just like ultra violence, and you're just like, whoa, that was gnarly. And you can't help but just love Lacey. She's such an amazing character, and just the whole Angel of Death meets Hannibal Lecter is so compelling to me. I don't know. I want to see more in this universe. Ulanuki, I hadn't seen anything she was in before last year's Darken. I'm glad that was sent to me so I could meet Ulanuki as well as Audrey Cummings. I love that duo. I hope they do more movies in the future. Because I didn't know this is a sequel, and the way that it unfolds, you don't even honestly need to have seen the first one for you to enjoy this second one, because they don't spend a lot of time with exposition in this movie whatsoever. They let visuals tell the story of who these characters actually are. It's not heavy-handed, it's well written, and it's a fun popcorn, violent episode of CSI almost. I don't know, like anytime I see detectives or anything like that, I always automatically go to, this is CSI. For some reason, just because I used to watch CSI back in the day. So anytime there's something overly crazy, I'm like, man, this is the craziest episode of CSI. Even though it's not CSI whatsoever, it just always makes me kind of go to that place just because there's a detective. I don't know why my head does that, but it does. If this was an episode of CSI, this would be the freaking craziest episode ever. It's not. This is a fun movie. Yeah, definitely check this one out if you are into, well, angels of death, cannibalism. I don't know. There's a lot to digest in this movie. Not just bones from fingers. Even like if it's not in the trailer, I don't want to give away any spoilers. There's some good death scenes, and that's the only like horror for horrific part. It's more of a mystery cop investigation. I don't even know. I had no clue what to expect going into this. I was pleasantly surprised. I know that this has the potential to be open to several more movies down the road, and that excites me. This is a cool franchise with really awesome people attached to it. I'm just editing this review right now, and I totally forgot to give this movie my rating. This movie is getting 5 out of 6 bottles from me. If you guys are interested in checking this one out, it is playing September 22nd at 9:30 p.m. at the Globe Cinema, or September 24th at 9:15 at Eau Claire Market Theater. That's all I got for today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time.